This restaurant is the Spoke and Wheel Tavern at 8525 North Central Avenue in Phoenix. Since 1918, there have been close to 30 eating, drinking, and entertaining establishments on this 1.3-acre wedge of land where Central Avenue meets the Arizona Canal. Before the post office assigned an address, the location was referred to as the end of the trail or the top of Central. Once a spot with several trees, it is sometimes referred to as the Arbor, after the name of the first and several later businesses. The first Arbor was an outdoor dance pavilion opened on May 21, 1918, on land which at the time bordered the Country Club of Phoenix. Its owner, Ed Worcester, was an entrepreneur who ran a barber shop, sold real estate, owned racehorses, and managed the grandstand at the state fairgrounds. Drinks, food, and tobacco products could be purchased at the Arbor Tea Garden. Worcester's development of an outdoor dance hall on the canal may have been inspired by the success of the Riverside Dance Pavilion at the south end of Central, which opened 4 years earlier. Worcester sold the Arbor to Anna Wazlewski and her son R. Stanley Wazlewski in 1924. The family had recently moved to Phoenix from Tulsa after the death of Anthony, her husband and Stanley's father. Anna lived at the Arbor the remainder of her life, and Stanley until he sold the property in 1956. During their 32-year ownership of the Arbor, Anna and Stanley Wazlewski established the location as a place for entertainment, food, rental cottages, and, after the lifting of Prohibition, alcoholic drinks. Stanley's application for a liquor license was the first received by county officials 5 months before beer and wine were reintroduced to Arizona. The Wazlewskis operated several businesses at the Arbor through the years, including the Arbor Dance Garden, the Arbor Grocery, the Arbor Court, and the Arbor Buffet. The buffet was key to their livelihood from the early 1930s onward, and the most popular dish was Polish sausages with sauerkraut. One of Stanley's interests was theater work, and on his death certificate, his occupation was listed as stagehand. He converted a building into the Arbor Theater and held productions there in the early 1950s. The photo on the left is a scene from the 1951 production by the Desert Players of Sunny Slope. In 1954, Charles Terry, a 29-year-old architect, fulfilled his goal of owning a jazz club by leasing the theater for the Jazz Mill, a nightclub which showcased a house band and visiting musicians. The Jazz Mill was at the Arbor for 2 months before relocating to 7th Street south of Indian School Road. Charles's most prominent work as an architect locally was the Phoenix Country Day School in Paradise Valley, built in the early 1960s. After owning the property for over 30 years, Stanley Wazlewski sold the Arbor to jockey Dave Erb and his brother-in-law, Darrell Brooks, in 1956. Erb had just won the Kentucky Derby and financed the purchase of the restaurant that Brooks would manage. They named the supper club Irby Derbies after Dave Erb's nickname and decorated the interior with horse racing memorabilia. Converting the old Arbor Dance Hall into a classy restaurant and nightclub required remodeling of the main buildings. The task was undertaken by architect W.Z. Smith, best known for the Studebaker dealership in the Round on Central, which later became Circles Records. Smith started by removing many of the trees to reveal the Arbor's main buildings. The roofs of the original structure can be seen in the modernized building here. Smith enclosed the exterior with windowless wood panels and added an automobile drive-through at the south entrance. When completed, the drive-through was framed with a wall of natural stone along the outside edge. Within 2 years, the partnership between Erb and Brooks had soured, and the restaurant leased to new management. This was the first of 24 ownership and name changes to restaurants at this location between 1957 and 2013. Businesses opened during this period have stayed in business from as long as 12 years to as briefly as 3 months. Most establishments emphasized the dining experience over drink and entertainment, but a few were nightclubs that also served food. Several types of cuisine have been offered through the years in keeping with the changing tastes of the clientele. The restaurants that immediately followed Irby Derby's offered similar steak and lobster club-style dining experiences. Jim Yancey, who initially leased then bought the club from Urban Brooks, was an experienced restaurateur who had opened Durant's on Central and claimed to have broiled over 1 million steaks. The sports-related theme started by Irby Derby's was continued by Yancey's successor, Bill Swift, one of the operators at Swift's Steakhouse. Bill also managed prizefighter Zora Fali, the popular heavyweight from Chandler, who a few years later fought Muhammad Ali in a title bout. For the next 18 years, each of the establishments included the term Arbor in its title to connect with the area's past and recapture the loyalty of the neighborhood residents. The food remained for the most part steakhouse fare until Ralph Amakapani opened Raffaelle's Arbor in 1970. A native of Italy who previously owned a restaurant in New York City, Amakapani and family enjoyed a successful 9-year run at Raffaelle's serving authentic Italian cuisine. The years were not without their difficulties, however, as a flood in 1972 and a fire in 1976 closed the restaurant for 2 years while the building was rebuilt. The next 2 decades saw a variety of innovative restaurants at Central and the Arizona Canal. Following the success of Raffaelle's, Auberge du Canal provided fine French cuisine presented by 7th-generation chef Erasmus Kanitzar. Harper's, a gathering place, was open 23 hours, closing only for cleaning 1 hour a day. It marketed itself as a place to meet new people, relax, and enjoy good food at budget prices. To date, Top of Central has been the longest-lived restaurant at this site, lasting 12 years from 1983 to 1995. It was acclaimed locally as an elegant, top-notch restaurant with excellent service and atmosphere at prices that were extremely reasonable for the luxury received. In the mid-1990s, the nature of businesses took a dramatic turn from restaurant to nightclub that was not appreciated by the neighborhood. The main attraction at Paris After Dark was not food, but the Follies After Dark Weekend Cabaret, which showcased entertainment by female impersonators. A year later, Mystique, a self-acclaimed upscale and classy nightclub, whose late hours kept the locals awake, closed after only 3 months when the Phoenix Planning Department concluded that the business was not in compliance with the property zoning. After almost 3 years of wrangling between neighbors, Phoenix government officials, and the landowner, a commercial zoning permit was reinstated for the property. George Knackard, who had owned the site as the Top of Central and reacquired the land after the Mystique shutdown, opened the Bridle Path Steakhouse and Cameo Parlor Saloon on January 7, 2000. The Spoken Wheel Tavern is the current occupant of the Arbor site and has been in operation since 2013. It touts itself as an eatery serving contemporary American cuisine with a Southwest twist that caters to cyclists and diners alike. For over a century, the triangle of land at the intersection of Central Avenue and the Arizona Canal has been a popular place to go for food, drink, and entertainment. So let's raise a glass to continued success and good times at this location for the next 100 years. Thanks for viewing.